So let me make a declaration. Beyond being the Minister of Finance and the Public Service here in Jamaica, as we heard Angus say, I'm also a Chartered Financial Analyst, or CFA. And I know that this morning I'm among friends here because there are many CFAs in Jamaica. And I want to acknowledge you this morning for stepping out boldly and putting in the work in order to achieve this globally recognized professional credential. And for those of you who don't know, it takes at least 3 years to attain this designation. The financial markets in Jamaica are stronger. We're having as many CFAs as we do have now. Congratulations to all of you who are CFAs. So the topic, government priorities to deepen capital market development, could not have been more apt. It was this government that passed legislation that gave birth to the junior market. Many years later, we know how successful the junior market has been, moving from less than 100,000 units, valued at Jamaica $1.5 million, with a mere 14 transactions in 2009, to experiencing a record in 2022, a year in which volume traded amounted to over 4.7 billion units, valued at over $16.3 billion, over 234,000 transactions.
Join us on
As you know, the companies listed include finance, manufacturing and distribution, retail services, education and leisure.
See you later.
There are many indicators as to the success of the junior market. And for that, we should many times reflect on that accomplishment. We didn't stop there though. In March of 2025, there was a successful capital raising of Trans Jamaica when the government of Jamaica sold its remaining 20% stake and raised over $12 billion from about 22,000 applications. The company was valued at 60 billion Jamaican. Then, barely a year later, that same company is valued at approximately 70.5 billion Jamaican dollars. Our market work. Yes. I don't want to say, if you'll allow me, if you look at its financial highlights, that's Trans Jamaica, it is showing strong growth. For the 9 months ending September 30, 2025, Trans Jamaica reported a 15% increase in revenues to US, almost $70 million, and a 28% increase in net profit. The company maintains a high dividend yield, recently reported at 6.24%. And in terms of recent development, the company managed the infrastructure recovery following Hurricane Melissa, and it is expanding the network by 50%. Of course, I can't stand here and give you investment advice. I can only repeat the facts about the company. But if you find the facts interesting and you make a decision, you did it all on your own. We didn't stop there. In July of 2025, only 9 months at the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. This time around, I led a team from the ministry and along with our investment advisor, Titi, I think I can call the name, the government of Jamaica raised US $400 million, or approximately Jamaican $65 billion on the international market. And it did this by creating a special purpose vehicle called MoAir, Montego Bay Airport Revenue Finance Limited. The deal was significantly oversubscribed. But the key point to note that is applicable for capital markets deepening is the risk mitigation. The notes are the sole obligation of the special purpose vehicle, MOAIR, with no direct recourse to the government of Jamaica. The structure includes a cash-funded reserve fund to withstand potential stress. I am highlighting that transaction, even though it was done on the international market, because within 3 months of doing that transaction, of raising US $400 million, what happened? Melissa hit airport securitization, Melissa, Category 5 hurricane. You have securities that's dependent on revenue flows from the Montego Bay Airport. And we know what happened in the aftermath of the storm. But did the investors flinch? Did they run away? Did they try to sell their bonds? No. We kept them abreast of what was going on in regards to passenger traffic. And I can tell you pretty soon they recognized that the impact on the airport was temporary. One of the important features was how the investment was structured. It was a special purpose vehicle that insulated from the general risk in the market. And then our international rating agency, Standard & Poor's Global Ratings, affirmed the rating after Hurricane Melissa, noting the project's resilience despite the expected short-term traffic declines. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the power of structuring of a transaction, and I'm sure Angus will agree with me. Further back in time, I also led the team, along with our advisor, NCB at the time, for a successful IPO of the then Bricktown Wind Farm. At the time, it was a historic event in Jamaica. April to May period of 2019. The government sold 100% of its shares and raised $5.5 billion Jamaican dollars. About 31,000 Jamaicans subscribed. And it got listed on the main market in May 2019. I have to say, I don't think I've ever said it, but at the time, there were many in government that did not want to see that company IPO. There is a thing about government that you should not sell assets. But this finance minister is here to look across government to see how we can more efficiently utilize the assets of government. And if it is that the private sector can manage it better, manage it more efficiently and create value, or the people of Jamaica, we will take steps to do that. So that company gave Jamaicans then an opportunity to invest in the energy sector. And I'm happy to note that just recently the company reported a net profit of $231 million in the June 2025 quarter, and that was supported by improved wind conditions and higher output. Since then, the company has changed its name to Victor Energy Limited, and it is going on to greater things.